How are there only 10 semiotic signs?
Surely there are infinite possibilities. Firstly, yes, there are obviously infinite possibilities of semiotic signs. Secondly, remember, semiotic signs are not tangible things, but meaning-bearing visually encoded entities. Thirdly, we are talking classifications of semiotic sign action power. Peirce defines in his wonderfully conceptually detailed but obtuse way 10 classifications of semiotic signs. Let us get our heads around them. Eh?
So what if there are 10 semiotic signs? How does that help?
Quite right. Knowing how something is structured is not the same as a positive impact on how you design or illustrate.
So let us begin from the impact on visual communication back to the theory of this episode. On Semiosis 101, I have stressed semiotics is not a mechanical engineering approach. It is not a how-to step-by-step manual. Communication is between humans, the creative, and the target audience. It is qualitative, not quantitative. We have spent a lot of time across 2 seasons exploring how audiences interpret and how semiosis enhances and improves the visual communication successes. In episode 3.6, I described Peirce's first sign class in 3 words: possible, familiar, instant. From a creative's application point of view, what benefit does that knowledge provide you as creatives? Possible, familiar, instant. Whoopie-doo. So what?
Yes, you are entitled to ask that question. Let me answer that quickly, but in doing so, I will build on this quick answer over the next 3 weeks. Graphic design and illustration has a complex job to do, to bear meaning through type, image, or both, beyond the denotational level. Visual communication in global 21st century societies has to work a lot harder to visually communicate above the social, cultural, visual noise. While the visual noise of competing visual outputs gets louder and louder, it is easier for people to disengage. Instead of competing with this escalating visual noise, semiosis offers a different tack. As semiosis involves the audience as interpreter of what they see, the mindful alignment of semiotic thinking with ideation aids the creative to work smarter, not louder. This is where Peirce's 10 sign classifications can structure a smarter way to visually communicate. As I have previously summarised, we can describe the semiotic sign action power of each sign class in 3 terms. Sign 1's sign action power can be described as possible, familiar, instant. Each of the remaining 9 signs can also be reduced to 3 words. But again, so what? A perceptual change in a creator's approach to designing or illustration can be, in the long term, more productive than learning a new tool in Adobe Creative Suite software. We are talking about becoming smarter about how you visually communicate. Small perceptual changes in creatives can enhance your ideation and impact on how you design or illustrate more effectively. These small changes I mentioned obviously come from applying semiosis. These perceptual changes via semiosis also will impact positively on how the target audience reacts to what they see. Remember, our desire while the visual noise escalates is to offer our target audiences a quieter and more direct connection to what we are visually communicating. This brings us back to possible, familiar, instant, and the 10 sign classifications. Let me explain. The first word describes the perception power of the sign. The second word describes how the meaning is represented. The third word describes the type of vehicle that the sign uses to carry the meaning. In this episode, we will avoid Peirce's obtuse terminology in favour of designer-centric terms. We will revisit his terminology next week when we will discuss the sign vehicle concept in more depth. So let us now examine these 3-word descriptions. In episode 3.6, I explained these 3-word descriptions. To quickly paraphrase what I said, the first word in 3 explains the power the sign has to convey meaning to the audience. The second, the power of semiotic representation used, and the third, how the audience receives it via the sign vehicle used to convey the encoded meaning. Let me now break this down in more detail to explain what these mean to designers and illustrators so that you can begin to appreciate the semiotic sign power you can enhance your ideation with. First, I will outline the semiotic power the sign has to convey meaning to the audience. For regular viewers, it will come as no surprise that sets of 3 interdependent levels or triads will feature quite heavily. So, onto the first term. Let us begin with the perception power of the semiotic sign. This empowers the intensity of the semiotic communication from simple to complex. Peirce illustrates his 10 semiotic sign classes in an inverted pyramid. When looking at Peirce's 10 sign classes, we read them in rows diagonally downwards from sign 1. In doing so, we can see classes 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 and 8 are grouped in the top left section of the pyramid. These have a perception power of possible intensity of semiotic communication. Below them are a strip of signs 4, 7 and 9 with an intensity of the suggested. Sign 10 in the top right hand corner has an intensity of the resolved. We will return to Peirce's terms for Semiosis 101's designer-centric terms in the next 2 episodes. Returning to Peirce's inverted pyramid of 10 semiotic sign classes, we can now outline the representation power of communicating the concept. Now we can see that classes 1, 2 and 5 are grouped in a smaller top left section of the pyramid. These each have a familiar semiotic representation power level. Under this power level, the larger grouping is at the bottom of the pyramid, grouping signs 3, 4, 6 and 7 with representation power of existence. A smaller grouping in the top right hand corner of 8, 9 and 10 have the representation power of proxy. I'm sensing a collective shout of "so what?" welling up in the audience, but indulge me for one more minute. I am nearly there with the theoretical context to give you the big finish. Finally, we can outline the semiotic delivery power of the effect of the sign on an interpreter. Peirce's inverted pyramid of 10 semiotic sign classes now show a different power level combination as a quality that can be perceived as ephemerally meaning bearing. Sign 1 is the only sign class that has an instant sign vehicle. The next sign vehicle level is mediated, and the sign classes that use this delivery power level are grouped together as a strip of sign classes 2, 3 and 4. This means that sign classes 5 to 10 are at the delivery power level of agreed. Peirce defines this highest delivery power level as not a single object, but a general type which, it has been agreed, shall be significant. Now we have mapped out the theory, let me answer the so what. Like with any aspect of learning to be creative, the exploration is more elongated than its actual application. So the so what question is easily answered in an equally long and short way. Let's get the short answer to the so what question out of the way first. So what? Because there, that is the short, glib answer. Now the longer answer. To summarise in a designer-centric way, the 3 levels of 3 states which each sign class is powered by can be listed as perception power, possible, suggested, resolved; representation power, familiar, existent, proxy; delivery power, instant, mediated, agreed. Each level exists in one of the phenomenological levels of firstness, secondness and thirdness. Each of the 10 sign classes' power comes from how the perception, representation and delivery interact. In the next episode we will go deeper, but to end this episode, let me just list the 10 signs power in designer-centric terms. 1. Possible, familiar, instant. 2. Possible, familiar, mediated. 3. Possible, existence, mediated. 4. Suggested, existence, mediated. 5. Possible, familiar, agreed. 6. Possible, existence, agreed. 7. Suggested, existence, agreed. 8. Possible, proxy, agreed. 9. Suggested, proxy, agreed. And 10. Resolved, proxy, agreed. What the lay viewer can see from this list, beyond any initial word soup, are combinations of how semiotic sign action can enhance the effectiveness of visual communication. It is up to the individual creative if they wish to become more successful at visually communicating. If so, the so what question is actually redundant. If not, then fine. But you will miss out on a strategy to get beyond the barrier of visual noise. Thanks for watching. Check out the other Semiosis 101 episodes, like and share them with your friends. And hit the bell and subscribe buttons to be notified when next week's free Semiosis 101 episode is published. You can also follow Semiosis 101 on the socials for updates. It is at Semiosis 101 on Instagram and Threads. See you all again next week for more Semiosis 101 to help illustrators and designers to enhance your visual communication skills.